follow-ups on corrections.
For the regulatory binder.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what were some of the findings?
Some of them has to do uh, with dates. Let me see. Oh, it has to do with date and signing of
What's wrong?
what is this? Source documents.
But regulatory?
You know,
Oh, you mean the thing we were talking about yesterday with Chris?
yeah, some of there were some information on the regulatory binder at the back of it, whereby mention was made of follow-ups that has to be made.
Yeah, but what follow-ups? Like what?
Follow-ups like on assessments that were made or something like that, or some that we had not done.
Okay, but that's source. That's not regulatory.
Okay. It was in the regulatory binder. That's what
the follow-up letters go in the regulatory binder. Yeah.
Okay.
But like, what issues about the regulatory did you find?
Oh,
because in the regulatory binder, you're right. You'll have the follow-up letters, right, from the monitors.
I didn't really find any issue with this thing, because most of the things I was looking in the regulator has to do with the ICF, right? The IRB.
Yep.
Follow-ups, and those ones, they were like detailed. They were all in the files.
And how many amendments were there to the protocol?
Okay, the amendment for I saw amendment for the ICF, which has to do with the version of the version 2.
Okay.
So ICF, California, Washington
ICF
states.
Amendments. How many ICF amendments were there? How do you know that subjects are signing the most recent version?
Because on some of them, they wrote, I was checking at the dates. The second version, one was dated 10/15, and there was the original one. And then I looked at the IRB amended approval, the dates, for the consent, right? No, not this one, for the IB.
Investigator brochure.
Yeah.
So we gotta separate these things, okay?
Okay.
So the investigator brochure, the IB, you said was amended?
Yes.
How many times? Once?
Twice.
Twice?
Yeah. One was 15/05,
okay,
15, and one was 22/10/16.
Okay. So 2 times it was amended, which is unusual for IB. Usually that's not amended. Okay. And what about for the ICF? How many times were amended? How many different versions of the?
For the ICF, I believe it was 2. The second version, I got the date 10/15/15.
But how do you know for sure how many there are?
Because it says it track version of the revised model. Then there was one for version 2.
Version 2. Was there any recent one after version 2? Was there a version 3?
No, I didn't see anything that was.
Okay. So 2 times also.
Yeah.
And the protocol?
Okay, the protocol.
These are the 3 things that could get amended, okay? So in the regulatory, the 3 documents that could get amended are the informed consent, the investigator brochure, and the protocol.
Okay. The protocol, there was first amendment. I saw the first amendment was 9/3/15.
For the protocol, the first one. Okay.
Yeah.
And for
there
the
was original this thing that there was a second the first amendment I saw. The second amendment, I was trying to look for the date, but I couldn't get that. I wasn't sure if it's the second one was available, but it looks like it's available, because the first one has to do with something that do with those with constipation or something like that was added to it.
So there should be, in the reg binder, there should be a section that says amendments and approvals. Right? For protocol?
Yeah, there wasn't one that in the what?
In the reg binder.
Okay.
There should be a section that says amendments and approvals. And it should have all the... So each time a protocol is amended, it's a new protocol signature page that needs to be filed.
Yes.
Right? So protocol, When that's amended, you need a protocol signature page. Okay, same thing with all of these.
Yes.
But the ICF, no. There's no signature page for the ICF amendment. It's just all the patients have to re-sign. Any patient that's still active in the study at the time of the amendment needs to re-sign it.
Okay.
Okay, now, in the field, as a CRA, you're going to be having access to the IRB portal. Okay, so it's going to be a little easier when you're actually in the field. Here, you just looked at the reg binder and assumed that everything that's there is what's most recent.
Okay.
But in real life, you will have access to the IRB portal. It's just a website.
Okay.
With your username, password, just like you do with Intralink or with BioClinica. Okay. You log in and you'll see for that site and for that study all the amendments.
Okay.
Okay. So that's how you'll know.
So the detailed.
Yeah. That's how you'll know.
You don't have to be looking for it. You know, everything will be like in order.
Correct. Okay. But in the reg binder, you should see for all of these, they should be accompanied with IRB approval.
Yeah.
So you can't just have an amendment; it has to have an approval.
Yeah.
Same thing with the IB. Same thing with the protocol.
Yeah.
Did you see those?
Yes, they have approvals.
So
in fact, I was getting the approval dates more than the amendment dates. You know, like the approval date.
Yeah, that's the one you want to use.
Okay.
Yeah. Very good distinction. So there's the actual amendment date, and then there's the approval date. And so it depends on your CRO and your line manager when you document which one you should put, which one you should document. To be safe, you should put both: amendment date, approval date.
Okay.
Right. And then make sure that the site is using the most recent version.
Okay.
If you don't want the site, let's say the protocol was amended twice, right? You don't want the site using the first protocol, you know, and then they're not actually following the second protocol. You need to make sure that they are and that they're aware of that.
Okay.
Even if the PI signs the protocol acknowledgement, that doesn't mean that the site is even aware of that. And how do you check to make sure that the site is aware of protocol amendments? What's another thing they have to do?
Oh, they you know, it has to reflect on all the.
It's a log. There's a log.
Okay.
What is that log called? When the protocol amends?
The amendment logs?
No, not amendment log. Let's say a protocol was amended. Okay. How do you know that all the staff have been trained?
Oh, the signature page, the delegation of.
No.
Log.
Nope. That's just the delegation log is just showing you who's delegated to do what task. But how do we know all those people on that log are aware that there's a new protocol and have been trained on it?
Oh, there has to be a signature page that shows that, you know.
But signature page
not
is
signature
just for
page.
PI.
It has to be
it's a log.
A log that shows that everyone is aware and have been trained on it.
Training log.
Training log, okay.
That's what it's called. Okay. So no matter what type of study or what, it's gonna always be called training log. Okay. Just like delegation log.
Okay.
Sometimes they're called delegation of duties log. Sometimes they're called delegation of authorities. Okay. Sometimes they're called delegation of site responsibilities. Okay. But you can always just call it delegation log. Everybody knows what you're talking about.
Okay.
And just like training log.
Okay.
Everybody knows what you're talking about. Okay. But that's how you know. So if a protocol's been amended and the PI just signs the protocol signature page, that doesn't mean that all those people on delegation log are aware. And as you know now, who does all the work at the sites? Is it the guy who signed this thing?
No.
Or the gal?
The
no, they do almost nothing. Okay? It's all the people on the delegation log, primarily the coordinator. Monica, Kobe, Rosario Carlos. You met 5 of them this week, right?
Yes.
Right? 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Carlos Rosario, Paula, Monica, Kobe. Yeah. They're the ones doing the work.
Yeah.
Not the PI. So how they're not signing this.
Yep.
So as a CRA, there's no way to document that they are even aware other than this training log. Okay? Delegation log doesn't document that they've been trained on any amendment.
Oh, no.
It just shows that Monica can draw blood, enter data in the EDC, dispense medication, but that tells you nothing about amendments.
That's true.
Right? It's very important. Like this theme of training is probably the most important theme a CRA can focus on, because it's everything that stems from training has to do with safety, which is really the main concern of a CRA, right? Or any sponsor. Safety first.
Yes.
So if you're not following the protocol, let's say they amended the protocol because they found something poses an unnecessary risk to a patient. Mm-hmm. So they amended it. Mm-hmm. Well, now if the site is not trained on the new amendment, they're still posing that risk, right? So you're the last line of defense to make sure that they're actually doing that. The PI is supposed to, but you and I both know.
It's not in the office.
Yeah, and if the PI did what they're supposed to do every time, we wouldn't have CRAs.
Yes.
The PI would be the CRA. But that's not realistic, nor does it. And even if it were, they're still humans and they can make mistakes. So you're the CRA is the one that's checking all these things. That's why these reports are so thorough. I mean, it literally breaks down everything you need to do at an interim monitoring process. So that's the most important things for regulatory. Of course, there's other forms. And then there's a whole new thing about new staff, right? Mm-hmm. New staff. And same thing with new staff. What? They need what? To be added to this and this.
Yeah.
Right? So even if you're monitoring and there hasn't been an amendment, but there is a new staff, you have to go back to these things. If there are no new staff and there have been an amendment, you go back to these things. If there's no new staff and no amendments, you don't need to worry about this. But what you do need to worry about at that point is expired GCP, expired licenses.
Yes.
Okay. And like things like IATA certificates and CLIA waivers for the site. Okay. So even if there's no new staff and no amendments, you still have things to monitor as far as regulatory. It becomes a lot easier though. Okay. And another thing with new staff, if they're a sub-investigator, the site has to update the 1572. And then that new staff needs all these things too.
Yeah.
And a CP. So it's always something. It may be a lot. You may be spending a lot of time in regulatory. If there's new amendments and new staff and expired license, you're going to spend a lot of time that day on regulatory. If there's not, you just check these things. The bare minimum. Okay. So that would be much easier for regulatory. Where it gets stressful for CRAs is if there's a lot of these things that require maintenance and a lot of source data to review, which we didn't even get into. We've been doing this for 20 minutes, 16 minutes, and we didn't even talk about source. And that's like your main job as a CRA is to do source data verification. So what else? What else did you discover?
Okay, the source data verification.
SDV, yeah. So now, and this is, people always ask, well, what's the order? I should do regulatory first. Should I do source data review first? And my answer is, it truly doesn't matter unless your CRO or your line manager prefers you focus on a certain order. You focus on what's needed. So if you already know before you go, which you should, that there's been a new amendment and new staff members, you should probably spend the beginning of your day doing regulatory. Okay? Because most likely you're going to need to update that training log too. And the CRA is allowed to train the staff. If you have time, you can train the staff on the new amendment.
Okay.
Ideally should be the PI, but if that's not getting done, the CRA needs to do it, including training the PI. And the PI can train themselves also. Somebody has to document that everyone's been trained on the new amendments. All right? So now you get into source data, which is the majority of your time at a busy site will be spent on source data, right?
Yeah, what I found in that is that some, like on the particular visit date, they're supposed to be like assessment, whether assessment, whether there is a AE or whatever. Mm-hmm. It is. I noticed on the notes that there was no AE, but I feel the form should still be in that place to show that, right? Or is it sufficient just to write in the visit notes?
Yeah,
no AE.
That's sufficient. If there's no AEs, then just put it in the visit notes. No AE.
So you don't put the form to document the no AE, even though it is stated that is one of the things that have to be checked.
Yeah, correct. So the AE log, which should be in every subject binder, right? Okay. It was, right?
No.
That's
what I'm saying. There was no AE.
It's only AE log.
It's only on the visit notes that it's noted that there was no AE, no concomitant medication, but there was nothing.
That's okay. But every subject should have an AE log in the subject binder.
Okay.
You can keep a master AE log in the reg binder, but it gets harder to maintain. Okay. Just like a ConMed log. Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you see any ConMed log?
No.
Okay. So that would be a finding.
Only with the ConMed, you'll find a form on each of the patients.
ConMed log.
Yeah. No, not the log.
Okay.
Not the log the log will contain every visit, right? No, you just
the log just contains what they're taking in addition to the study drug.
I know what I'm saying is that the ConMed log, the form will be there, but it's not like a log for each visit for a particular.
Oh yeah, they need a log. So exactly. So that would go in your report, and you would put it as an action item that the site needs to include an AE log, even if it's blank.
That's what I was thinking.
It needs to be there with the headers and patient initials and everything in case there is a new ConMed. Let's say the patient had a headache and took Tylenol. They need to put that would trigger an AE log, headache, what date of onset, date of ended, and then intensity. Does the PI think it's related to the study drug? All those things are in the log. And then the ConMed, what date did they take? What date did they stop? What's the dose? And for what? For what? And then that should coincide with the AE log. And then that should be in the EDC as well. So if you didn't see those logs, that would be, I would tell the site, where's the AE log? Where's the ConMed
You will
log?
see the form, for ConMed, but you don't see the one for AE.
Yeah. So then whatever's missing, you tell them. You have to file these. And if you have a lot of patients and no AEs and no CONMEDs,
you say that's action what?
Action item. Action item. It's on the back. The last page of your report is you'll see there's a section like page 10. Page 10 on the back. Could be underneath your yellow paper right there.
Oh, okay. Oh. Yeah, 10 or 10. Okay.
You see?
Okay.
Action
Okay.
item.
Okay. Action.
And take that home with you. Okay.
Okay.
Action items. This is everything you find, regulatory or source or anything related. IP. Monica's going to do IP accountability with you later today. Any issues you find, go here. And that goes in your report, which your line manager will receive and review. And once it's approved by your line manager, follow-up letter. So the site will never see that report.
Okay.
Only your line manager will see it, and the sponsor will see it. The site will see the follow-up letter. And later today, I'm actually doing a follow-up letter for a study I'm a monitor on. I just finished that report. It's been approved by my line manager. So today I'm transferring that information onto the follow-up letter. I'll do it with you so you can see. It's actually very easy.
Okay.
Okay. It's once the report is approved, you have all the information there. And then the follow-up letter is pretty simple. It's usually like 2 pages. It includes were there any amendments, were there any deviations, were there any new subjects screened, when did you monitor, and what are the action items. I'll show you. We'll do that later. So that's right. So what else was there? Any questions or issues?
Then I noticed that there was on the subject JZ, when he came in for the second visit, something like that, there was a notation that he said he has nausea, but they wrote concomitant. That was still an AE, but on the visitors, on the notes, it was written there, that it was not a, but there was nothing on the AE, like the log or the form, to show.
To show why.
Even though you wrote concomitant on the visit note,
yes,
there was nothing on the.
Very good. So, perfect. If you are monitoring and you see that the CONMED log has been updated with a new medication, but it doesn't show for what. Okay, it's supposed to, and maybe they even put why on the log. That should correlate to an adverse event or part of the medical history. Okay, so if it's part of the medical history, it doesn't make the adverse event log. If it's an exacerbation of a medical history condition, it should. For example, we do a lot of schizophrenia studies here. So if somebody has an AE of paranoia, well, that's part of the medical history because it's part of schizophrenia. So it doesn't go on the AE log. But if it's an exacerbation, if they're having more paranoia than normal, that does go on the AE log. And if you're increasing medication, chances are it's due to an exacerbation. Otherwise, you wouldn't play around with the meds.
But
right?
yeah, they didn't see any.
You only adjust the dose if something's happening. If the patient's stable, doctor doesn't change dose, right? I mean, even you and I, when we go to the doctor, if we're stable, they're not changing anything with our meds.
Yes.
But if something's going on, they do. So if same thing in a study. If any medications changes, it has to be due to something. Most likely it's an AE, right? That's very important because you will not see You will not always see the full, complete picture as a CRA. You'll see like pieces of it. You should see the complete picture, but if the site's not documenting properly, or they're busy, or they forget, you're only seeing part of the picture, and you have to make sure that they complete it. That's a perfect example. ConMeds and AEs.
So like that one that was on the visit notes, it should have been on the log too.
That's right.
Even though it's concomitant,
that's right.
Maybe the PI could have written a note that it's non-significant or.
That's right, and you can request that they do that. You can request that they do that in your action items.
Okay.
And I would also query it in the EDC, right? If they added the whatever they put in the ConMed in the EDC, which they should, but they didn't put what it's for, or they didn't fill out the AE log, you query it. Was this due to an adverse event? Or is it part of medical history? Cite to clarify.
Okay.
That's the action item.
Okay.
You could never find too many of those kind of things. I mean, always go on the side of caution. Like, and then let the PI tell you, no, that was part of medical history.
Okay.
Or they might tell you, yeah, we forgot to update the AE log. Good, thanks for bringing that up. Because they're busy. Like, they don't always do everything they're supposed to.
And then I noticed that, it wasn't, where they even fill out the concomitant medication log, it wasn't dated or signed.
ConMed log? The PI has the initial, right?
Yeah, they have to. It was just blank. They fill it out, but it was just blank. Nobody filled it out like it was on the date or who did it.
And which log was this?
The concomitant medication.
ConMed log?
Yeah.
ConMed? Does it say that it has to be PI initial, or it just says staff initials?
I didn't see the delegation of whatever log, but I just but it was on the visit note. There was no concomitant medication, but the thing is that when it was filled out for like 12/15 or whatever, they did not put any date or any signature.
So there's something like the ConMed log. There's a medication there, but no initials next to it.
No.
Does the form require an initial by somebody? Okay.
I think if it's just usually the form have like the blank. You know what I'm saying? But after it's filled out, I think usually somebody will sign it or put a date on it when it was checked.
If the form, if the ConMed form, because that's part of Alcoa, right? It's attributable.
Yeah.
Who put that there?
That's what I'm saying. Right. There was nobody to show it was put there by social.
Every log I've seen in a source or in a reg has either initials or a signature or something. Yeah. Right? And so that would be another action item.
Because like even EKG, you will sign it and put the initial, but this one has nothing to show. It's just like somebody writes something, maybe notation.
That would be how would you query that as an action item?
I would say please verify signature and date.
Please verify. Yeah. Please verify who this is attributed to or something. Yeah. Say to clarify. Yeah. Even if you can tell the handwriting, they need to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. So what else? Anything else you found?
One is like the AE was not dated.
On the log?
On the I believe is it on the log? Yeah, I think it's on the log. Yeah.
So the AE, there's on the AE log, there was the AE. Do you remember what it was?
Who?
No, what? What was the AE? Was it a headache or what was it?
It was signed, but it wasn't dated.
Yeah,
It
but
has to do with nausea.
Nausea, okay.
Yeah.
So it was signed but not dated.
Mm-mm.
But did they put a date of onset of the nausea? Like what date it
On the
occurred?
notes.
On the note,
Yeah.
but not on the log.
Not on the log.
There you go. Perfect example.
It says it's onset 22 something.
Okay. But not on the log.
Not on the log.
Another finding. Yeah, action. You would add it to your list.
Okay.
And then put a sticky note on it.
Okay.
And make sure they complete it. And then I would also check in the EDC. Is there an onset date on the EDC? Right? You didn't do that, but that's what I would do at the site. And if not, query onset date.
Okay.
Right?
Well, that has to do with the safety aspect.
Safety is
under the
super
safety
important.
aspect.
Safety is like both of these things, regulatory and source.
Yeah.
That's like everything.
Yeah, I put that one under the safety something though.
Safety is literally everything in the study.
Yeah.
Like that's
IRB,
encompasses
EC,
everything.
requirements, so
training,
yeah.
amendments. SAEs. Did you find any SAEs?
No.
No? So all AEs, no SAEs.
No.
Okay, that would be an easy monitoring. When there is an SAE, you spend more time.
Yeah, because you have to make sure within 24 hours it was reported,
There you go.
IRB was notified,
Yep.
and all
Follow
the
up.
actions that were taken.
Initial report,
Yeah.
follow up. You know this stuff. Chris did say you know your stuff. That's good. But yeah, very good. So the AE log. Also, you have to read the progress notes, right? Because sometimes the PI will write something that the patient told them, but then the coordinator won't read it. Let's say, for example, the patient had a stomachache. Okay, and they told the PI during their visit, and then the PI writes, patient complained of stomachache, which was minor last week. Patient is fine today. It's not a major issue. The patient's probably not going to mention it to the coordinator, unless the coordinator asks, were there any issues? But if they don't, and they already told the PI, chances are it's not going on the AE log because nobody told the coordinator. So, but an AE happened, and it's documented that it happened, right? And an FDA auditor will see it. So the CRA, again, you got to be on top of it. Just because it's not on the log doesn't mean there's no AEs.
You have to check the PI's notes.
It just means that the coordinator or somebody didn't put it on there. Or it means there was no AE. But that's the hard part. You have to do the work and find out, right? And that's why it gets stressful. There's a lot you got to go through. A lot. It can be overwhelming. And then IP accountability is a whole nother thing. Like, you're literally counting pills for every visit, like that's been returned.
Like the one I did with
because Monica's gonna do that with you later today.
Yeah.
Did you do another IP? What did you do?
No, I was just comparing the one I did on these ones with the one I did with Chris. The person over there is always writing 100% compliant. But when it is
at the site with Chris?
Yeah. When in fact, how can you if it's 90 that it's supposed to take, and it takes 85.
Right.
That can be 100% compliant unless it is stated in the protocol that if client takes maybe 70 pills is compliant, right?
Right.
So and then there were 2 instances whereby subject did not even take the pills. They said it threw it away or something.
And it still says 100% compliance. So that's let's see. We're testing my knowledge now. So attributable, legible, contemporaneous, original, accurate. Yeah, and then the new one's complete. So the missing AE log signatures would be complete, right? This one pertaining to the IP would be accurate. That's not accurate.
It's not accurate.
And you have no way of knowing that unless you count the pills. And you also have no way of knowing it unless you look at the protocol and see, okay, subjects obviously are supposed to be 100% compliant, but every protocol allows plus or minus 5 over, because you can be over compliant. You can be 105% compliant. That means you took too many. Every protocol will have a compliance window.
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes it's plus or minus 5%, plus or minus 10%. Sometimes it's plus 10%, minus 15%. You don't know unless you look at the protocol. Yeah. And it has to be documented. And it's unless it's an injection or an infusion or like a device, compliance is very rarely going to be 100%.
Okay. Even in fact, in that one, part of the protocol says if twice in a row the subject is not compliant, the sponsor is supposed to be notified. There was
this study?
No, the
one in San Bernardino?
There was no notification letter.
And they were twice in a row?
And there was counseling only once. The subject.
That's another one. IP. Then that has to do with safety too. Everything is with safety. Mm-hmm. If you ever get stuck in an interview question, it's just talk about safety, because everything relates to that. So if they ask you something you don't know, just start saying something about safety. You can say that affects safety, and then try to figure out how. But IP, okay, accountability. So you're right. Even if a subject is 100% compliant, the site should document, usually it's the coordinator that does this, that the patient was 100% compliant. Study coordinator reminded the patient of the importance of maintaining this compliance for the safety of, for their safety and well-being, and for the accuracy of the study or the integrity of the study. That has to be there. I tell all my staff here too, like, because I do the QA here at the site, and I tell them, like, I have these on my desk, stickies. So they do visits usually at the end of the week. I review everything, and I look in their progress notes. Where's the education on the compliance? No matter whether they were uncompliant or compliant, it has to be there. And when they get busy, they tend to skip these things because it takes an extra time to write this, but it should be there. It should be there. And as you're right, as a monitor, you should enforce this. You should enforce it because it's part of good clinical practice. And then, like they say in research, if it's not documented, it didn't happen. Even if they saw the patient and the coordinator tells you, oh, I always re-educate the patient on compliance, but you don't see it in their notes, it didn't happen. And you have to remind them of this. Very important. Anything else?
No, that's all I have on the
let's see. Since you're the last student of the year, 2018, it's holidays. You wear a large? I think you wear a large. Hopefully you wear a large, right?
Yeah, large or it depends.
I only have large.
Yeah, I wear large.
You want? Look at this. I got two. But which color you want? Black or blue?
Black.
Okay, that's the one I would pick too. Anyone else, because of the holidays, anyone that wants one of these, I only have one. Anyone that watches this all the way till the end, it's 48 minutes. I don't know how long this is. And you text me at 949-415-6256. Just text me that you watched until the end.
9?
Well, you can't do it. You already have one. But someone watching.
Okay.
You can't text right now. 949-415-6256. I will send you this last shirt I have. That's it. I have a sweater for me. That's all I have. So that's a holiday reward for anyone that watched up till 42-minute mark. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll catch you all later.